age 18.
Grand Theft Auto 5, Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, Horizon Zero Dawn, Ni no Kuni, Far Cry, God of War, Metal Gear Solid, Chrono Trigger, Halo. These are just a tiny, minuscule sample of incredible AAA games that are already available right now. Can you honestly say you've played every single one of these, as well as experiencing all the game has to offer? Most likely, your answer is no. Many will say it's because the titles don't interest them, or that they simply will get around to it. But maybe there's a different answer. Something nobody is talking about. Your time. Your time is limited, and there's only so much that can be dedicated to playing these games and keeping up with new releases. And maybe you're one of those people with a ton of time on their hands and you've played every single great game all the way to the end. Eventually, there will come a time, because so many great games keep coming out, that you will be overloaded and can't keep up. Just think, somebody playing these games that's born 10 to 15 years from now would not have enough time in their lifetime to play every single great game that came out in our lifetime. With so many incredible games from franchises already available that exist in backlogs, will we reach a point in time where AAA releases simply cease to exist as we know it? Sure, marketing will try to sell consumers into the black hole of better graphics and higher frames per second, but what is it that people truly need to enjoy their gaming experience? It can be boiled down to two things: a memorable storyline and/or fun gameplay. Those two things already exist in plentiful supply, yet consumers have been trained to buy the latest and greatest tech because it simply drives the profits into the stratosphere for these billion-dollar AAA game companies. Clearly, new games and stories can and will be made, especially when it comes to the indie marketplace. Don't get it twisted, the point of the story is not to discuss how AAA publishers need to stop making games. The fact is, there are so many incredible games out there right now that you have not played and will skip over to buy a different game that's newer but not necessarily better. There is an endgame to this rat race, however. Eventually, games will peak and consumers will realize how much they've chased their own tail. AAA publishers are well aware of this fact. Some would say they've already begun to implement the next step in the natural progression of a diluted industry, changing the entire business model to games as a service to ensure profits can continue to grow. There's an abundance of psychological marketing involved here to ensure consumers continue down the path of the latest and greatest, without discussing the past history of games that today's generation of gamers will have completely missed out on. Being a kid that grew up in the 80s, seeing the absolute boom of the original arcades, Atari, the battle of Sega versus Nintendo, among countless other techs at the time, I was able to witness the birth and maturity of an entire industry. Feelings on the absurd amount of ports coming to modern consoles are mixed at best. It's a great thing for those who either missed out on playing these games the first time around, or want to buy it again to relive their original enjoyment of the game with online abilities, enhanced graphics, or just simply the ability to take it on the go. Have we reached the point that the amount of quality games releasing on a weekly basis has become unmanageable? When I hear people tell me that they want Resident Evil 4 ported for the umpteenth millionth time, this time to the Switch, I wonder where we're at as gamers in the community. Is this what the industry has matured to? With way too many incredible games that so many people have missed out on playing, why should publishers dump ungodly amounts of money into the development process of a new game? With each passing day, there are less and less reasons to do so. This is why the industry is changing. Making money off of games as a service is the only possible viable option for future success. I'm not saying I agree with the direction, nor am I personally buying into any of the games that offer these services. This period of time headed our way within the next 10 to 15 years will serve all gamers the opportunity to finally dive head-on into their backlog, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Now, if you'd excuse me, I need to go play the Secret of Mana remake.